What's up, guys? So I just finished submitting my third primary application this week. So I kind of wanted to talk about some similarities and differences and what I like and what I don't like about the three different application services. So you have the TMDSAS, which you'll hear me probably refer to as the Texas application, AACOMAS, which you'll probably hear me refer to as the DO application, and then AMCAS, which I think I usually call it AMCAS, or like the MD application. Okay, so I kind of want to talk about the order that I did them in and that I would recommend you do them in. And of course, this will change every year, and things are added and things are changed, and dates that it opens change and dates that they're due change, so. But I would recommend this order for two reasons. So I would go TMDSAS, AACOMAS, and then AMCAS. The first reason is just the dates they open and then the dates that you can turn them in, which I'll talk about a little bit more later, but I think that order makes it so you're pretty much ready to submit all the applications the day they open. And the second reason, which is probably the main reason, is that puts them in increasing order of how many characters you can put in your activities. So it's a lot easier to elaborate on an activity, to add more sentences, to add more information, than to cut it out and condense. And the Texas one has the least amount of characters, then it goes AACOMAS, and then AMCAS. And so that order, I think, just makes it the easiest to fill out all your activity sections. Next, I would kind of want to talk about some similarities. So on your Texas application and your DO application, you have unlimited activity boxes, which I thought was pretty cool because I was having a hard time narrowing mine down to 15 for the AMCAS. And the unlimited activity boxes also made it so I could elaborate more on like individual volunteer opportunities that I combined into one on my AMCAS. And I feel like I wasn't being able to, do them their justice or, paint a good picture. So there's some similarities between the AMCAS and the AACOMAS application, and those main similarities are that the personal statement is the same length, 5,300 characters. On the Texas one, it's shorter, and that can be difficult, condensing your personal statement because it's already so concentrated with work, hours of work. Like every sentence you have crafted to perfection, and now you have to cut out 3 sentences. So that sucks. But another similarity is you have to send your transcripts right away. Like the sooner the better. On Texas, they'll ask you later. So you don't want to send your transcripts to the Texas application until they ask. And then all 3 of them are similar in the sense where you have to enter in personal information, some family information, schools you attended, and coursework. And coursework is the biggest pain in the butt to enter in. And so if I were you, I'd just rip off the Band-Aid, and the day they open, that's like the first thing I would do because it sucks. Entering in everything, oh my gosh. It's just because you're so worried that you're gonna mess up one letter or one word or forget one class or add the same class twice, and that's just not gonna look good, So now I'm gonna talk about the application specifically and how they differ from each other. So on your Texas application, you have, like I said, unlimited activity sections, but they have a lower character limit than the other 2 applications. So that's like a reason that I think it's good to start Texas, DO, AMCAS, is it's just like on each one you get to add like an extra sentence. On the Texas application, you have 3 essays: a personal statement, a personal characteristic, and a unique experience. And the first 2, they have a 5,000 character limit. So your personal statement on that one is 300 characters shorter than your AMCAS and your AACOMAS. And so that was kind of hard for me, was just finding like words to omit and sentences to just delete. The personal characteristics essay I thought was kind of interesting because I was like, I feel like I already show that in my personal statement. So I just kind of had to think of a few extra stories, but it was just kind of hard to be like, and these are my characteristics. But and then so those ones I said are 5,000 character limits, and then the unique experience is a 2,500 character limit. And I just kind of wrote about a story of my life that was unique, you know what I mean? So you also get to pick 3 most meaningful activities, and those add an additional 500 characters. Just like, your AMCAS, which we'll talk about later, but, pick your most meaningful and add a few extra sentences. You can also add planned and expected hours, which I liked because a lot of my clinical experiences I just started recently, in the last few months. So I'm gonna put them down, but I don't want them to think I just don't do anything. It's I'll expect 1,000, 2,000 hours before I begin medical school. And you also get to add significant people who've played a role in your life. I just added my wife. I could have added some professors, but I was just kind of man, they can see that in my letters of recommendation that they played a significant role in my life and stuff like that. So then onto the DO application. Just like the Texas, you have unlimited activity boxes, activity sections, but you have a 600 character limit on those. So you get to add an extra sentence or 2. So that was nice. There's no most meaningful on that one, which is so-so. I kind of skipped. The Texas application opened on the 1st of May. The DO application opened on the 6th. But I submitted both of them on the 14th. That's when the Texas one opened for submission. But the DO application, you could submit the day it opened. So if you had all your activities written out, let's say on your Texas application, you could just copy and paste them over, add a sentence, make sure everything's filled out correctly, and then submit it that day. You actually have extra work depending on the schools you're applying to on the primary application. So for the few schools I was applying to, some of them had me write just a quick gist of why I wanted to go to their schools, whereas others had a few essay boxes for me to answer certain questions. There's no expected hours. So on those, I just kind of at the bottom of my activity box, I said expected hours 100 by June of next year, by the time I would be planning on heading out to medical school. It also calculates your hours for you. You don't just get to put in I did 40 hours in this. It asks you how many hours a week you did and how many weeks, and then it calculates that for you, which I didn't really like because for example, one of my activities, it's been over the span of 5 semesters, an hour a week, usually a little more than an hour a week. But if I put an hour a week, it puts me at 80, which I had a little more than that. But if I put 2 hours, then it's 160, and I was more at 100, and you have to add a whole number. So I didn't really like that. I like, the other 2 applications where you can just say, I did 40 hours, I did 80 hours, I did 100 hours. So finally, let's talk about the MD application or the AMCAS application. So this one, as you probably know, has 15 activity sections. You don't have to do them all, but I recommend doing them all, or at least filling out as much as you can, unless you're really BSing an activity and it just doesn't sound good, then yeah, probably leave it out. You get 700 characters per box, and then you have 3 most meaningful, which add an additional 13,025 characters. It opened on May 1st, so I started on that one and the Texas one on the same day, and I entered in all the coursework, but I kind of put off my activities and my schools till after I finished my Texas and DO application, because then I could just, if I had 25 activities on my Texas and my DO, then I can look at all 24, 25 of those and actually pick out the 15 that I think are the best, that best represent me, or even maybe combine a few. There was also another essay on the AMCAS application that was another unique experience or challenging experience essay that you overcame, that's also 13,025 characters. And they just added on the MD application anticipated hours, which again I really like because a lot of my experiences are ongoing, so that was a nice addition. But really, to end it, I would say I really like the AMCAS layout. It's really nice. I really like the Texas layout. AMCAS is simpler. It has 2 essays, really. You don't even have to do one of them. One of them's optional. And it has 15 activity boxes. Nothing crazy. Texas, I really liked organizational-wise. It was just laid out in a way that I was really able to remain organized while entering stuff in. And I would recommend that you do it in the same order that I did it. I felt as time went on, it got easier. Whereas I feel like if you went like the other way, it would just get harder, because I hate having to dumb down a paragraph where I feel like I nailed it and then I'm like, oh gosh, I have to take out half a sentence, but every sentence is like money or important. So the primary applications took a bit. It probably took me, man, I don't even want to say, probably like 50 hours to complete. Entering in the coursework just sucked, especially for me, because I think I had taken like 170 credits, and you have to enter in every single class, the course number, the name, the subject, your grade, and then you have to look over it a few times to make sure you did it right. So the coursework was a hassle. So yeah, I'd actually probably say it took me about 50 hours to complete it all, which it split out over like 4 weeks, 12 hours a week. It really wasn't that bad, but just get on it, crank it out. The second they open, start filling them out, and then I just think it's so beneficial to submit them the day they open. Since they're rolling admissions, why would you not want your application to be one of the first they see? That's just the way I see it. So if you watch this year, good luck on your application cycle. If you watch it a following year, I hope most of the information that I said remains the same. Oh yeah, and on one of them I even had an option to write like how COVID affected me. I think that was the DO application. You could write how like COVID affected you professionally, academically, and personally. So that was another little essay that was in there that, who knows, may be gone in a few years. So take it easy, you guys. Peace out.